Can you give us some ideas of what some short-term and maybe some long-term savings plans could be, some savings ideas that maybe the city is thinking of or not thinking of?
Well, the city has a $122,000 contract to update our zoning code because the city attorney couldn't get it to it fast enough. I mean, I would say you could save $122,000 there. That's at least one police officer for a year and bring it in-house. Or just stop these things. I mean, we're spending a lot of money on this development stuff, and maybe we don't need to do that. The city council, I think at the last meeting, they authorized about $1 million for new accounting software. Now, that never works as smoothly as it should. The IT department is going to be tied up trying to move their servers and stuff into the new building. And so, I mean, you've increased the risk that they won't be able to provide the support if there's anything.
It was interesting. I think her name was Karen from IT, made the presentation.
She's from accounting.
Oh, from accounting. And she said they had set aside something like $800,000 for this already.
Well, yeah, they transferred it to the IT fund. So the general fund transfers, you know, 800 and some thousand to the IT fund. Well, there's no reason that if it went one way, it can come back the other way, and it could sit in the general fund for a while and earn interest.
I didn't realize it came from the general fund. The way she said, I thought it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes. So I would say delay that. And I mean, the feedback I have gotten is that the city's accounting software leaves a lot to be desired, so I'm not arguing that it wouldn't be a good idea to upgrade. But one of the things, for instance, this particular, you know, package they're using, vendor they're using, some county in Pennsylvania sued them, and the problem they have is they weren't using all of their modules with this one vendor, and they didn't integrate. And so there was this big lawsuit. Well, neither is the city. The city has a different vendor for its HR software and a different vendor to collect the utility bills. So if that problem hadn't been fixed that caused the lawsuit, the city could have a problem, and it could end up costing a lot more. When the city did it, the city changed its software in 2000, I think, and they had to come back to council and say, we need another person. This is taking longer, more resources than we thought. So that's one of the things. Ask city employees to pay 100% of their parking. We now pay all of the parking for police officers. Their union contract requires that we provide parking in the closest parking structure, and the DDA parking fund eats that cost, so the city doesn't reimburse. We pay for it every time we park downtown. And for other employees, I think it is it's either 60 or 40% that the city pays, but there's some kind of cost sharing, so you could do something there. I would say, you know, don't start with the worker bees for cuts. Start with Fraser and the other top management, and you will hear that, oh, they haven't had a raise, but one of the little games they play is they give them more vacation time, and then they get to cash out that vacation time. So, you know, it's a way to kind of disguise that you're giving them more.
May I interrupt? Just, you know, the mayor came up with the proposal of a 3% across the board cut for both union and non-union. What do you think of that, and how could that work with 14 firemen or 13 firemen just being pink slipped? I mean, how do you ask someone to negotiate on one thing while you're letting them go on another?
I think that was designed to play hardball when you were negotiating. I mean, I was told, I went to this year's retreat, and I was told that the first offer was to the firefighters, we want a 25% reduction in your pay. That's absurd.
Right.
So it's, I mean, you know, how are you going to, and then he's there in public, in front of the reporters and the public that attended, saying, oh, we've made this offer, but we haven't gotten a response.
Right.
I mean, there's not trust between the unions and management. And I mean, I think you should start with sacrifices at the top management. Set an example.
Right.
And then you go to the unions and say, look, we've done this. I mean, the employees, I mean, they know that Roger Fraser's getting a car allowance, and, you know, he gets sent to a bunch of conferences on the city dime, and he charges a lot of meals to the city credit card. I mean, that stuff gets around. And so, and they see this big police courts building going up. And then they would say, hey, you're asking me to sacrifice. You know, you do it first. So, I mean, to me, that's leadership. You know, you sacrifice at the top and you say, look, I'm making more money, I have more capacity to do this. And then you go to the unions and ask.
So do you think that the mayor's proposal was a serious one? What would you?
It's hard to tell. I mean, they can do whatever they want with the non-unions, you know. Right. And I think that it's a, I mean, I would like to see the city's, you know, staff, the city finance department, really when they focus on the money is when they're focusing on the budget. That's the time, and that's, you know, what we're talking about now. This was about the budget. They're deciding what they're going to get to spend next year. What you don't see is them talking about what they've spent, and are they over or ahead of budget, and, you know, where could we find some savings. Nobody is watching the money.
So there's not a comparison to what happened last year or the year before in spending?
Every time I have asked for interim financial reports for the city as a whole, I mean, I haven't seen anything in a couple of years. So I don't, yeah, I mean, the Park Advisory Commission, I mean, one of the things that has been positive is I think that they appointed a committee to help with the golf courses, and it's really made a difference to help turn those golf courses around. And I think you have a staff, they want to do a good job, but they're just not getting good guidance. And so here was this group of citizens, they're willing to put in their time, and now, I mean, it's going to take a while to turn around the golf course because you had construction and they let the Huron Hills greens, you know, go. But I mean, it's getting better, and the Park Advisory Commission is the other one. That group has spent several years. They now get monthly financial reports on the park system, and it has made a difference in the way the parks are managed. It has made the parks management staff think about what they're spending now. And I would like to see more of that. Instead of our CFO talking about developing an economic development plan, spend his time on trying to talk to departments about, let's look at what your spending is now. We had a CFO before Tom that was here for about 6 months, and he talked about going around to departments and asking them, okay, look, you should be able to do better this year than you did last year. That's not going on, and that needs to go on.
Okay. We're getting short on time. I would like you to choose whether you want to talk about briefly the art in public places. We have about a minute, and so I don't know if you'd like to comment about TIFs or brownfields, or if there's any one thing that you, in half a minute,
okay. I would say on the TIFs, the major misconception.
Define TIF.
TIF is tax increment financing, and examples of that are the DDA, brownfields, and the LDFA, local development finance authorities. And what happens is you take taxes and you divert it to a special purpose, not unlike the Arts Fund. And people think that, well, because I'm getting more taxes, it's going to help give me some relief and help pay for my police and fire. It doesn't. None of those taxes go to those basic services. And so that means the rest of us are picking up more. If your first half was about the convention center, if you do...
Oh, right. My dear, I'm sorry,
we're
running out of time. I want to thank you, Karen Sidney, and thank you for being Ann Arbor's knowledgeable financial pundit. And thank you for watching, and please send your comments and suggestions to us at otherperspectivesannarbor.blogspot.com. We would like to hear from you. You know, we always welcome other perspectives. Thank you. We were running out of time.